National Sew a Jelly Roll Day. So I have this jelly roll that I think is so cute. I picked it up on sale and it is called Fresh Fig Favorites. And I plan to sew this up. And I thought I would take you guys along with me to sew a jelly roll. I am going to be making a log cabin, and I'm going to follow the tutorial by Missouri Star Quilt Company. And what I'm going to do though is when I make this quilt, I'm going to follow the blocks as they make them on Missouri Star Quilt Co. using the jelly roll. So I'm going to take this jelly roll. I think I might, I'm just going to sew up all my log cabin blocks. Once I have my log cabin blocks done, I might just put them all together. But I don't know if it's going to be a large enough quilt for me. And so if it's not, what I'm considering doing is taking this fabric. I know it's not a perfect match, but I'm considering taking this fabric that I have left over from something. I don't remember. But you can see here, taking this and doing cornerstones with this fabric and then doing sashing with this fabric. The quilt tutorial by Missouri Star Quilt Company is a really good one. I have made a couple log cabin quilts using that tutorial and I really liked it. So instead of like pre-cutting all of your pieces, you just pre-cut your center squares to 2.5 inches by 2.5 inches from a jelly roll strip. And then you just attach another jelly roll strip to it, you sew it on, and then you cut it off after. So you can really do some chain piecing with this. You can sew all your side strips on, and then you go back and you cut them off. Then you sew a top strip on and cut it off. So I'll share that with you. I'll share the process with you, and let's get to sewing some jelly roll log cabin quilt blocks up. Again, you can reference the Missouri Star Quilt Company tutorial here on YouTube because that's the one that I will be using. And let's get sewing. The most exciting part is kind of, hey, opening your jelly roll. And it is exciting to open the jelly roll. So do that. I did pick this one up on sale, so that's really nice. I try to save all these ribbons. I have yet to use them for anything, but I'm going to save them. I know I've seen people use their ribbon for pin cushions or on bags, and their labels they put on quilts. So I'm not sure what I'll do with this, but I'll just throw it in the box that I have in my sewing closet and just add to it. So I'm gonna set that aside. And then here's the jelly roll, all the colors. And so on Missouri Star, they just say she separates the lights and the darks. And so I'll probably maybe make these the lights, maybe this yellow. I'm honestly not sure how this is gonna turn out. I'm kind of feel like I'm going into this blind, but that's okay. So I think this will be my light stack, this will be my dark stack. I am going to take the some reds out. I believe you can get 16 2.5 inch squares, so little squares out of one jelly roll strip. And the pattern by Missouri Star calls for, it makes 25 blocks, I believe. So if I'm remembering right with my math, I am going to take 2 of these red strips here and I'm going to cut them up for the center cornerstones. I'm not sure what reds I want to use. So let me pull these out here. Okay, so I did get 16 2.5 inch squares from one strip. So I'm going to take this strip here and cut my remainder 2.5 inch squares from it. So all of my center squares are cut. Okay, so I am just going to be making one block for now, and I'm going to trim it off as I go rather than pre-cutting all of my log cabin pieces. I'm going to add this one to this side here. Okay, so you can see how this block is coming along here. Let me speed this video up and then I will complete this block and share it with you once this block is fully completed. Okay, so here is the first finished block. At first, when I started making it, I ended up with this, and you can see my square was here instead of over to the side. So see how you're supposed to have, according to the tutorial I'm following, you're supposed to have your center square and then the adjoining 2.5 inch square to the right of it, and then your first rectangle piece will go at the bottom of the block. But on this one, I started doing it and I put the joining square to the bottom and then put the rectangle here. Now everything else is like the color-wise placement is fine. It's just how it looks is different. So I'm actually not going to unpick this. I am just going to add my top dark row. So I will take this fabric here and just add that. So I do want to share, the tutorial I'm using is by Missouri Star Quilt Company by Jenny Doan, and she has a center square here, and then she has one row of dark here, one row of dark here, and then a row of light and a row of light. So I think they just consider that 4 rounds. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4 rounds. Okay, so I just finished these first 2 blocks. So again, the placement here is wrong. So I will follow the placement here. The center, and then the first round will go to the right of that, and then I will keep adding. So I do want to point out that one strip of the dark, the last round, I only had this much left over. So that's kind of an idea for you, so you know that you can probably do 2 blocks with 1 strip for that last round. Okay, so I wanted to share, these are the blocks that I have previously made. These 2 there. And I'm really hoping that, oh, I guess I should turn it this way. I think I'm supposed to have, I don't know, I was thinking I want to have the dark at the top. So I'm hoping to do each round matching, so we'll see if that happens. But I have these blocks done, and then I just did a whole bunch of chain piecing, and there's all my scraps there. I haven't yet to do the dark round. So I got all my light rounds done. So you can see here, so all the lights. Oh, I'm totally telling you guys wrong. Oh my goodness, I don't know why I said that. That's not true. Clearly I have a light and I have a dark. I'm counting this tan as a dark. I did move it to the dark pile. But so light and dark, light and dark, and then light and dark. So what I meant to say is I have like my first round on all sides. So now I just have to do a light side and a dark side, and then they will be done. But I am stopping for the day, and I will come back tomorrow and I will pick up where I left off. Today is day 2 on this log cabin, and I am going to finish sewing the 2 more rounds on these blocks. I have all my strips laid out, and now I'm going to begin sewing. All my log cabin blocks are finished. So I made a total of 24 blocks. Here are all my trimmings. Here are my scraps. I was able to, my goal was to have each of these like L shapes match their fabrics. So, you know, this side and this side match, one fabric, one fabric, one fabric, and one fabric. And I was able to complete that. Now, if I had to do 25, I don't know if I could have got the 25th one out. I might have. I did have to do a little bit of seam ripping, and okay, so I just went through all my leftover scraps and I laid them out, and I do not have enough to make block number 25 with this square. I do have enough for the dark rounds, but not the light rounds. If I would have maybe been a little bit more precise in my cutting, I think I would have enough on the light. I was like short by maybe a 1/4 inch on one of these long sides here on this outside round. When I was sewing and doing the chain piecing, I did use my scissors to like snip off the, when I was stitching onto this jelly roll strip, I just used my scissors and I just snipped it off. And then I brought everything over to my cutting mat and trimmed everything up nicely here. But to start, I did use my scissors. And so I think if I was maybe a little more precise and used my rotary cutter the entire time, maybe I would have enough to do block number 25. But I am going to add my sashing, my cornerstones. I'm going to take this to the floor, lay it out, and I could see if I need block number 25, but I'm hoping to make this work with 24 blocks because I like that every round has matching colors or are identical. So, you know, this and this side and this top are identical, side and top identical, side and bottom are identical, and then the side and the bottom are identical. And it worked out that way for every block in this stack. And I like that. I really like that. So the center 2.5 inch squares are different because I had to cut up 2 different jelly rolls. So you can see that there, the dots and then the floral. But anyway, I'm really happy that I was able to do that to match each round of fabric because I really wanted that look in this log cabin quilt. So I'm going to lay these out, see how they look, figure out how many cornerstones I need, how many pieces of sashing or strips of sashing I need. And then I'm going to cut up the sashing, cut up the cornerstones, bring this back and to my sewing machine and do some sewing. Okay, so I'm in my living room and I have everything laid out on the floor, and I kind of moved some blocks around for a little bit. And I think I'm just going with this layout. I keep moving blocks around and it's kind of hard. So I'm just gonna go with this layout. I'm going to cut some sashing, cut some cornerstones, but I went with the 24 blocks and I did 4 across and 6 down. I have all my sashing cut and my cornerstones, and then I have all of my rows. I just label them with a piece of paper that I pin on there, and I have them all stacked up. I have all my rows pressed and my sashing pressed, and now I'm just going to start pinning it. Okay, so I'm just pinning my sashing to my rows, and I pressed my sashing here. I pressed the sashing inward towards the cornerstones because this is a light fabric and this is a little bit darker. And then the sashing that I put on my log cabin blocks, I pressed that sashing towards the log cabin blocks. And so my seams are nesting really well. So when I pin them, everything is just nesting and smushing together really well. And I just thought I would point out that I got my first battle wound here. I was pinning and I poked myself and I thought, oh, no big deal. It probably didn't bleed. No, it did bleed. So I had to hurry and put a Band-Aid on it because I don't want to get this cream white fabric all bloody. But anyway, I am pinning away. My log cabin quilt is done. And I just want to say that the cornerstones right here that I did, they're 2.5 inches. And then the strips are 2.5 inches wide. And this quilt is 50.5 inches wide by 74 inches long. So I did have some scraps of jelly roll, but I just wanted to point that out. So it's about 50 by 74. I think it's a good size quilt. But I really do like this fabric. I think it's so fun. I think it'll be really fun for spring. I'm not in a hurry to get it done right now, but I do like this jelly roll. So I'm glad I was able to sew with it. And you can like see my threads everywhere on the floor. But anyway, this was a lot of fun to do. So excited I sewed a jelly roll for National Sew a Jelly Roll Day. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.